Welcome to the Lair Secrets Podcast, a podcast exploring the sprawling caverns of gaming, hidden treasures of geekdom, and the unexpected intersections of reality.
I'm David Moore, and I've nearly finished a gaming coffee table.
And I'm Ken Newquist, and I have not come anywhere close to finishing a gaming table, but I have completed a video game. Like, really, honestly, I've completed an honest-to-God video game, which I think is quite the accomplishment for a 52-year-old gamer. But speaking of accomplishments in gaming and such, you notched up the achievement Go to Origins 2024.
I did. The last time I was at Origins, I think, was when you were there as well, which was more than a decade ago.
Yes.
My daughter, my youngest, who was in like the kid area, was still in the phase of, if you give me scissors, I will cut my bangs sort of thing.
I remember that.
Yeah, cut her eyelashes, not her bangs, not her eyebrows, her eyelashes. She is now a sophomore in college. But yeah, but we went back this year. Aaron wanted to go back and play some games there. And so we did. So we got a hotel. Aforementioned daughter and her boyfriend went with us. We got a hotel room that was attached, reasonably attached. There's a couple that are attached to convention center, but it's still a little bit of a walk. But it was good because it was rainy and thunderstormy a couple of those days. But I met Jon Hook there.
Cool.
Jon Hook. This will come out before the other piece, but Jon Hook has written games for Call of Cthulhu. He also runs the I just spaced it. Modern Mythos podcast with Seth Gorkowski as well, and he has been in our recorded but will not be released like intro, because we were all learning Fallout game, and so we're going to be doing a Fallout game in the next month or so, and he's going to be part of that. So he was already headed to Origins. I was headed to Origins. We said, hey, let's meet up and see what we can do. He ran games in the Lurking Fears room, which they're a group that runs a variety of different games like Call of Cthulhu and Aliens. He ran an Aliens game.
Ooh,
sorry, Ken.
If only I'd gone.
Yep. So we hung out a lot of the con. We found a good Asian place, little Asian fusion of a variety of different, Thai, Chinese, etc. foods. I found I liked Masaman curry, which is
nice.
a new one for me. And then he found out he liked Masaman curry because it looked good. The next time we ate there. And he is an enabler of game purchases, just like me. So I will show off my the things that he enabled to have me purchase a little bit later in the show. But in addition to that, he ran one of the only non-Star Wars games that I played. He created these things called Isolated Investigators. It was named something else earlier, but he's re-releasing them as Isolated Investigators. They're Call of Cthulhu, using the same Call of Cthulhu rules. But it is a GM and a player, and that's it.
Oh, cool.
So it was my second game. I survived. Also stayed sane. I will just say there were lots of cats involved.
Okay.
and it was good. He said it normally runs, because it's just one player and one GM. They run like under 2 hours, maybe, like an hour and a half. We ended up going like 2.5 hours just because we were having so much fun.
Cool.
I was a librarian, wanted to work at the Arkham library, but hadn't gotten in, so I worked at the Miskatonic University Library as where I wanted to work at. Instead, I worked at the Arkham Public Library across the river. So people want to hear more about that adventure. I don't want to spoil the isolated adventure, so I don't want to tell too much more, but I'll be at GenCon, which we'll talk about a little bit. Actually, I'll talk about it now. I'm going to be at GenCon. Reach out. I'll tell you the story there if you find me. If you're going to GenCon, leave a shout out in the comments. Maybe we can try and figure out if we can meet up somewhere. So he was also on a panel called Beyond D&D, which is how and why are these games different? He was on a panel with, and unfortunately I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find her name. There was a YouTuber, RPG YouTuber, that I was not familiar with that was there. And also who was there was Kelsey Dionne of the Shadowdark RPG. So it's basically that panel was how games like Shadowdark, Dragonbane, and all these others are different and better, than the world's most popular RPG of Dungeons and Dragons. And it was a good panel. There was a lot of audience interaction. And even it was funny. At one point, Kelsey mentioned, there's always that GURPS guy. And, saying like coming up and saying, hey, you could do this in GURPS. And one of the guys who happened to also be in the front row went, I'm that GURPS guy. And then there was some more audience interaction. It was pretty awesome.
That's great.
And because John was on the panel and I was hanging out with John that day, I got to meet Kelsey. She's amazing, very friendly, also made the Shadowdark RPG. And because of that panel, like I had been kind of Shadowdarked out because of all the push from a lot of the YouTube and podcast stuff that I follow. Right. And I'm not a super old school revival sort of person. I like it, but I also like the narrative games a bit more than your character might die at any minute. But after talking at the panel and meeting Kelsey, I've looked into Shadowdark and it seems pretty cool. It's like 5th edition, but slimmed down so it's darker. Like for instance, no one in Shadowdark has dark vision, can see in the dark. So you have to carry a light source like a torch or a lamp or something. And torches last 1 hour real time. Okay. So when 1 hour of game time, 1 hour in the real world passes, that torch is used up. So if you have a 6-hour session, you're using 6 torches. And, other things can of course happen. And it's a lot more like the old school basic and expert set sort of D&D.
Gotcha. So on an entirely unrelated but related note, I've gone far too far down the dynamic lighting rabbit hole in Roll20.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to make for an awesome Cyberpunk RED adventure. Like, I think it's going to be super duper cool. I don't know if any of you guys have a flashlight, but it's going to be awesome.
I think we bought flashlights.
I suspect. I think I figured out how the lighting should work, but it's pretty cool because, and I like the idea and kind of like playing on the Shadowdark thing, right? Like the idea of light as a fixed resource. Yeah. And that you just don't automatically see the map, right? And that you do actually have to be strategic about it. Now, I don't think your batteries are going to run out unless an EMP happens, but still, like the idea of resource, like you just don't get to see anything. You're gonna have to figure out where you can put people to avoid having definitely not zombies come charging out of the darkness, because it's not a Resident Evil game. It's just inspired by Resident Evil. So
you watched way too much Resident Evil planning for that game, though.
Yeah,
for the upcoming.
It's going to happen eventually. But yes, the dynamic lighting is pretty cool. So like the idea of I could also see doing it like because you could do this in Roll20, like where the torches burn down.
Oh, really? Do they?
Well, I think you could do it, right? Like you could say, at 15-minute increments, just go in and start messing with people's light sources, and you can do stuff with the API and macros. I don't know if anyone's done it, but I wouldn't surprise me if they had.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I know you can adjust the light radiuses, so I'm sure that you could set up some macros to do that. We have a visitor to the lair. We'll see what happens in a moment. We nearly had an escape of a hound.
I'd say if I was there, your hounds would be going far, far more nuts than.
Well, they know this visitor. I'm pretty sure. I think did not come in. We'll see. Aaron is getting things under control. But so we may see a friendly face in a minute. One of the things about the light you just brought up, not on our notes, Roll for Topic, which is a podcast, has their latest episode was how do you handle light sources in a dungeon, and that was inspired by not Merrimack Caverns because that's in Missouri. It's a huge caves complex in Kentucky, Tennessee area, I think it is. And I'm completely blanking on that one now. But one of them had actually gone through in as if they were tourists in the 1800s or 1900s using lanterns. And they were saying they had like 10 lanterns going down through that cave system, and it was not a lot of light. Like now it's all hooked up with electric light, so it's very brightly lit and looks amazing. But they for this particular tour they turn all those off and you go through with lanterns. And at one point they kind of shuttered all their lanterns, and the guide lit a lighter, like a cigarette lighter, because even earlier people would go through with candles. And
right.
Like if you lost light, you would be completely blind and at the mercy of anything that normally lived down there, and in a fantasy setting. Right. And it would be, you probably would not make it out of that particular thing. Mammoth Caves,
which is actually the inspiration for the Colossal Cave text adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like one of the first interactive fiction games ever published.
Yep. That was the name that was in my head. And I'm like, that's not it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've gone to Laurel Caverns in Western Pennsylvania, and there is, if you've never experienced it, you should. There's something to be said for being in a cave pretty deep underground with the lights off. And then whether it's psychological or not, like the air isn't really moving. It's 65 degrees and it's like, you can feel the weight above you, and you really just want them to turn the light back on.
Yeah. That was another thing that they pointed out was like when you get close to the entrance of Mammoth Caves, if you go there in the summer, I've been there before. If you go there in the summer, it's like 80 degrees out. You get close and suddenly the temperature drops because as you go in, the temperature is going down. And I think it's like at a constant 69 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit inside, just because of all the, you're under the ground. There's not a lot of air exchange, and the mass of the earth keeps everything at that constant temperature at that level. So they were saying that that's one thing that I thought was kind of cool, was the idea of your party is getting close, rather than like rolling to see if they find the entrance. You can say, hey, the air's getting colder here. Or they do roll to find the entrance, and they're like, hey, the air's getting colder here. Or you feel a cool breeze nearby. And then that's, rather than say you roll and, you find it. You can give that sort of flavor to things, which I think was a cool idea.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. back to Origins.
Right.
I played a fair amount of Star Wars D6 games with the Sparks group, and Erin and my daughter and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is like totally nuts over Sparks. He's already writing modules for the Sparks game. He's like, how do I get on the council, which is the group that leads the campaign? I'm just happy playing my ex-pirate Kushaban character, and Kushaban are kind of like a very small rabbit-like race. They were mentioned in one of the more recent comic books as like a Jedi who had gone into hiding, and they're only about a meter long. Tall. So when we sit down at the table, there are 4 Kushaban in a table of 6 to 8. They go up to 8. I usually don't like playing more than 6 people at a table. Oh no, we lost Ken. Evidently the Kushaban got into the wiring of Ken's microphone. So we're
as
sorry about the slight pause there. It was a little longer for us than it will be for you. So after Sparks, I overall impressions of Origins, I described it as cozy GenCon to everybody that I talked to.
That sounds right.
It's larger than your typical local con, but it's much less dense than GenCon. You are not in wall to wall people at GenCon. So if you want kind of a GenCon experience, but don't like large crowds, then Origins, the cozy GenCon, is for you. Like you can be in the vendor hall, which is about a quarter or less the size. It's still got a decent amount of vendors, not nearly as many as GenCon, but
right.
But you can stop in the aisles of the vendor hall, which are about as wide as they are at GenCon, and not stop traffic. Like people can go around you easily. You could wear those big backpacks that carry like 15 board games that if you turn in GenCon, you're taking out 2 or 3 people. You could wear that at Origins and not worry about hitting anybody.
Gotcha.
And I was able to talk with people at the booths for extended periods. They had this awesome megaton from Fallout 3 that people had made. That this one person, Crafty Rick, I think from YouTube, but he had made it for the Fallout group so they could play Fallout Wasteland Adventures. I don't know. It's the minis game for Fallout
or something. Yeah.
He also had printed out and then really painted up and textured a ruined red rocket.
Oh, wow.
Which was really awesome. And it was big. It was a good 4 or 5 feet by like 3-ish feet in terms of like a play table. And I almost bought Wasteland. It was Wasteland Warfare. I almost bought it, which is good that I didn't, because I actually have it in PDF form.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. One of those secret treasures of Drive-Thru RPG.
Yes. It was one of those. It was part of a bundle, I think, or Humble Bundle or something along those lines. It was a Humble Bundle because I also got a bunch of minis with it, which was the whole reason I bought it in the first place.
Gotcha.
The STLs of the minis. And as I mentioned, the hotel was pretty close, so when I wanted to, I could just go back there and take a nap or just hang out for a while, do some writing. And it was fun. So I'm looking forward to GenCon. So
not next year, but maybe the year after 26, I might be able to go to Origins again, because I'll be at when Origins is this time of year, right? Every year.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll be at Philmont this time next year. So.
Okay. Doing one more, huh?
One more, 14 more days.
Okay.
Super duper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Gen Con. I wish I was there, but we got other stuff going on this summer, including
yep.
moving another kid into college.
I hear that. Yeah. My youngest is transferring from one college to another, so we'll have that in the fall. So she did get in finally after all the rigmarole of not having things properly filled out or filled out and sent to the wrong department. It's a whole story. But again, if you're at Gen Con, see if you can find me. I'll tell you more. If you care. You probably don't. So, one other thing that I did get at Origins, and I didn't actually hear too much complaints from Erin about it, because I got her some as well. I got t-shirts. So I got my
yeah. I was very
Yep.
I feel like I need that one. I mean, I'm wearing my
I have this one,
Black Sun shirt, but
I have a Nostromo one. And I have a Miskatonic University sports team one. It says "Go Pods." So
very nice, very nice. Yeah, I've been making it a purposeful effort to buy T-shirts that are related to the games that we're playing.
yeah.
So my T-shirt collection has been growing, but in
Nice.
any case, so transitioning. While you were off at Origins, I was home by myself playing video games. But that means I actually got to
either.
Yeah, so I actually got to finish a game. So this summer, I posted it over on Nuketown. I think I called it like One Focus Summer. I'm trying to get through some stuff, some games and books and what have you. And just, the list ultimately gives me the opportunity to just remind myself what I was trying to do. Right? Like sometimes you just get so distracted and there's so much stuff going on in the summer and we're going in so many different directions. It's like, you know what? I would really like to finish Cyberpunk 2077 and I'd like to finish Fire Emblem Engage. And I have finished Fire Emblem Engage.
Oh,
so
nice.
This is the latest in the series of the Fire Emblems. It's for the Switch, the second one that came out for the Switch, the first with 3 houses. I think we talked about it before a couple of times. It's a nostalgic take on the series. It's got characters that are carried forward from earlier games that work as sort of these like ghost-like emblems that can enhance your characters. It's not nearly as compelling for me as 3 houses. 3 houses had it could be played for one of 3 houses, which allowed you to really mix up the storyline and you could come at it from a couple of different directions. That could be a little weird because in my 3 houses playthrough, I'm pretty sure I just skipped past a big reveal, right? Like they had like the Black Knight or the Dark Knight or something. And it was a mystery like for the first third of the game. And then all of a sudden a battle happens and like everybody knows who he is. I'm like, did I miss something? And I think it was just one of those, I didn't take the branch that revealed the knight, but the story still has to reveal the knight because he just reveal, right? So there's a little bit of hiccupiness, but it's a really good game. Fire Emblem Engage is very straightforward. It's super linear. You just battle through, you deal with a bunch of stuff. So if you like Fire Emblem and you just want to do a bunch of battles and you don't want to get into all the relationship management and all of that, like it has a touch of it, but it's much more straightforward. And so, I mean, it was a fun game, good graphics. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to go and get the DLC and stuff, but it was good. And then the other game that I got, apparently I am the last geek in America to play Hades, and I can confirm that it is in fact good. I think you got it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I don't even remember.
Yeah, a while back. And I played the heck out of it. I recommend it. It works well on the Steam Deck, which I haven't opened up in a while. But yeah, it's good on the Steam Deck as well.
Yes, I'm going on a big trip in the not too distant future. And so I'll talk more about that when we get back. But it's going to be a longish flight. So having Hades with me will be good. Also, because it's coming out on HBO now, I should be able to download it. Super big, super stupid Godzilla X King Kong, The New Empire, I think. I wanted to see it in theaters. It's on HBO now, and it came out in May. So it didn't do very well in theaters. But you know what? Giant ape fighting giant lizard. Between that and Hades, it should keep you occupied for a couple hours.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that on our Discord. So yeah, if you want to get in on the conversation on there, head on over to our lairofsecrets.com and get in on our Discord. It's a
Look
good
at you
one.
with the stealth promo working it in. But yes,
I'm trying.
Yes.
I've had a little coffee. Maybe that's why I'm so excited. Origins was a fun time. And yeah, so yeah, I'm still kind of excited, and I'm looking forward to Gen Con. I was going through my I got my ticket packet this week, so it was it's yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, exciting news was that I finished my sci-fi and fantasy novel writing series. So number 3 is complete. I turned in my pages. I got some good feedback for it. I got excellent feedback for it, actually, but I can't say more about that yet. But I'm like, that isn't the end of my writing. I've been continuing to try and do 250 words a day. I get up early, and like from 7 to 8 or so, I try and sit down and write at least 250 words. I usually go over it by a bit. And just, I keep moving along with it. So, because I know if I stop, I'm not going to start again for a while, and I'll forget, and I'll get distracted. And I want to finish this book. So if you are interested in writing and publishing your novel, I recommend this series of courses. Henry Lien, our instructor, was amazing, very knowledgeable. He wrote the Peace Sprout Chen young adult series of novels and short stories. And if you're serious about publishing what you write, I recommend it. Great set of tools. I now know how to outline a novel. Before I used to like try and outline it as if I was writing a term paper in college. And intro, middle, outro. And that doesn't work for that. Yes, some novels have a 3-act structure, but that's not how you outline it. And so he gives really good advice on like how to structure your plot and making a plot grid, and how to dig into your characters, and how to world build, and how to lore dump without it being a lore dump. It was great. It was great. I have a lot that I, like any deep topic, I have a lot that I'm going to be getting back to and like having to mull over again in 2-3 months, sort of thing. Who said you wanted to finish Cyberpunk 2077, but yes. I see something here that is related, but is not a video game.
This is true. Although I do have one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is this book outline of which you speak? Like, you just don't randomly write random chapters when they come into your brain?
I have always called myself a pantser, or maybe a gardener, if you want to be a little bit, I fly by the seat of my pants. But this plot grid stuff has been really great, because I know the structure of the novel. I know, hey, this character has disappeared for 3 chapters. Maybe they shouldn't disappear for 3 chapters. I know a lot of the scenes in all those chapters. So if I'm kind of stuck, or writer's block, or whatever you want to call it, where I'm at, I can write these chapters out of order, and yet still I can go to a chapter that interests me and write some stuff about it.
Gotcha.
And know that it fits in the story. I'm not just writing something for fun. So,
right. Yeah, at some point we'll have to geek out about the whole writing thing and how like lessons learned. I think we talked a little bit about that before, but I think a deeper delve would be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am trying to get to 2077. I am now experiencing what you and Chris Miller, and I think everybody else I've talked to who's played 2077 have experienced, which is I don't want it to end, but I'm at the end, and I should just end, and then I should just start another character, because I'm at the end.
Yep.
You can only like run around. I'm a god at this point. Anything I attack is completely destroyed. I haven't even spent all my improvement points, right? But like, I should probably actually just finish the damn thing. But I did order Cyberpunk Edgerunners Mission Kit, which is going to arrive hopefully this week. And so this is the rules expansion. It's based on Cyberpunk RED, but then it has a smattering of new rules for 2077, including quick hacks
Nice.
I really only care about quick hacks. There's a bunch of other stuff. I think there's some technology upgrades, but I have been thinking about like one of the things for our campaign that I've thought about is how do you get from where we are at now to quick hacks? Right?
Gotcha.
And are there some things we can do in the interim as like maybe new technology or new things that are discovered that like start to seed us down that path? So I'm curious to see how they work, and I may backport some for our red game based on what I'm thinking of. But we'll see how it goes.
I was about to ask if APT was going to get some access to quick hacks, and I will say we are going into Elysium HQ and turning on a server. That maybe there was some research in there.
Maybe once you figure out how to like stumble around in the dark, you'll find a quick hack.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Looks like it's going to be pretty cool. They've been promoting it for a while. So yeah, I can't wait for it to arrive. But gotcha. I'm not the only one who's buying stuff because apparently
I'm not.
You have bad influences on you at Origins.
Jon Hook. So the first thing I can't really blame on Jon. We're going to be playing Fallout. Fallout has some custom dice. There are tables you can roll on, which is totally fine. And we did that in the first thing. I 3D printed some dice for Erin so that she could have it. But they're not the greatest. So my first purchase was a Fallout dice set, which is 2 D20s. The one on here has the Vault-Tec logo, which I think is appropriate. The third D20 here is actually a hit location die, so I don't. If you're shooting at a human, you don't hit. I don't have to roll on the table for it. And then there's a set of custom D6s that have two Fallout Boy heads, a single hit and a double hit, and then 2 blank faces. It's almost a fate die or a fudge die, but it's not. So I can't use my fate dice for it. So I wanted to get those because they're I like the clicky clacky things, as Jon Hook calls them, math rocks. I like the math rocks. And so I got a set for myself. I got a set for Erin. We met Chris Miller. Chris Miller came down on Saturday night just to have dinner with us and talk. And he was like, "Can you get me a set of Fallout dice?" Yeah, and so I got that. Because I got Fallout dice. The first time I went up, they were going really fast because they're sold out online. And right. So is the starter kit, which comes with the dice. I was going to get a starter kit, but they didn't have any. But as the dogs are trying to explain, they were trying to kind of restrict the amount of dice sets people were buying. So they wanted you to buy something else if you were buying a dice set. So I bought 2 dice sets, so they counted that as okay. But then when I went back to go get Chris Miller a set, they wanted to buy more stuff, and so I ended up getting the Fallout Vault Map Pack #1, which has a module in it as well as a bunch of vault maps. I have already reached out to Modifius and gotten the PDF of this as well, which also comes with VTT maps as well. So you may see these in our game. And then I also got the Star Trek Adventures Quick Start for the 2nd edition of Star Trek Adventures. And I have yet to read it, but for a very long time, I was like, why would I want to play a Star Trek game? You know, it's like it never really drew me in. But between Lower Decks and Brave New World and Ken, I am interested in playing Star Trek. I don't know that I ever will, but if there is a game available, I would play it. So
I have Captain's Log over here on my bookshelf. Yep. solo Star Trek RPG. Got it at GenCon last year. I've been accused of not actually having opened it yet, but I have actually opened it. I just got distracted by other games, specifically Starforge, which I once again blame you and Chris Miller.
Yeah, we are trying to do the Starforged game. So yeah. I think you and Chris Miller have both done Starforged stuff, and it's up to me to like get in and do that stuff now. But
it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to. I don't even want to distract us, but like, I am looking forward to talking about it now that I've gotten into it, because I'm curious about some of the game mechanics as it relates to NPCs and what have you. But I'll have some thoughts for later. I am enjoying it, but I am focusing on actually trying to play Starforged.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll probably, I don't know if we'll turn that into content or not, but it's been fun. Just setting it up was fun. I just need to find the time and dedicate the time to actually doing it. Yes. Now that my Wednesday nights are free, maybe I'll do it for an hour on Wednesday nights.
Just got to get started. It's just like writing, right? You just gotta get started. So.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon how you look at it, that was not the end of my purchases at GenCon. So
I can see that.
Years ago, I played Dread on the Game Master show. We played it, and for those who are not in the know, Dread is a horror game. I did pick this up. Dread is a horror-ish game. You could also do like tension, suspense type stuff, but you don't roll dice in this game. It has a unique mechanic for dealing with conflicts, and that is a Jenga tower, or a block stacking puzzle like Jenga. And actually, honestly, you could use anything that has some sort of precarious stacking nature to it if there's some things other than Jenga. Jenga happens to be the easiest. But when you have a conflict, the GM can say, you can make a pull. And if you make a pull and you put it up there and everything's fine, you're going to succeed in that conflict. But if the Jenga tower falls over, your character dies.
Wow.
They may not die right away, but they will die, and they will die soon.
Nice.
And it was fun. Like we did kind of like a stereotypical zombie apocalypse thing set in a Walmart when we played it years ago. But it was a lot of fun. It made an impression. I've heard people still talk about it today. And at the Indie Press Revolution booth, they had Dread, and so I picked it up.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got a couple of solo journaling games that use the puzzle tower as its like mechanic. It was like both a resource mechanic and it's sort of like a tension mechanic, right? Like as opposed to just using a deck of cards.
Yeah, that would be a good one if you had a tension sort of thing. The other one was actually enabled more by Chris Miller, because also at the IPR booth was Eat the Reich, and it is it's like that neon pink. It's a beautiful book to read, and I can actually read it. Like, not only is it like, I've looked at Morkborg, and there's some stuff in Morkborg that looks amazing, but is kind of hard to read and follow. I can actually read and follow this. So it's not only is it good graphic design, it's good page design as well. It's a beautiful book to hold in your hand, but it is here for those of you who are not familiar with it. The year is 1943. You were a unit of crack vampire commandos, coffin dropped into occupied Paris. You have one mission: drink all of Hitler's blood. So there are some pre-gen characters. There is a way to make characters if you really want, but the pre-gens are pretty awesome. And it's not meant to be a long campaign. It's meant to be played over 3 or 5 sessions. You don't want to shove it all in one, because I think that's too much.
Right.
But it's very high octane ultra violence. But they also have some good guidelines for how to run it and not go off the deep end. And, especially if you're like running it at a con. I think we talked a little bit about that before, in the past. And then there's another one that I've seen a couple of times. and it just seems cool. It's kind of in line with Mothership and Alien, but maybe a little bit more on the humorous side. It's you're in space and everything's fucked. This is a 2-book set. Yeah. I mean, just the name is great. So the first book is the Struggler's Guide, and so this is for all the players, and they play the strugglers. They play. Everyone is playing a. Let's see, where is it? You're playing survivors, emergency aid workers, or just unlucky individuals that are probably going to die horribly. And then the GM is actually playing the hostile space station that they're in. So it's pretty cool. As with just about every book at IPR, if not every book at IPR, Dread, I think, is the only one that isn't that. You can contact the publisher there, because most of them are part of what's called Bits and Mortar, that if you buy at a con or your friendly local gaming store, not Amazon,
right,
that you can contact them and say, hey, I bought this. Can I get the PDF for this thing? And they go, yeah, sure. Here you go. And you send them your receipt. Some of them is like, send us a picture that you have the physical book, and they'll send out the PDF for it. So I have the best of both worlds. I can read it on my iPad, but also have it with me at the game table.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm still working my way through the Mothership box set that I received. And we have the unboxing video up on YouTube, so you guys can check that out.
Yeah.
It came with so many different things to read, and I'm kind of like trying to balance getting through that with getting through my summer reading list. But lots of good content, and I'm not going to be seduced into buying yet another book I'm not going to play right now. I'm going to read the Mothership stuff, damn it.
You should, and play Mothership and play Aliens. So
yes, I definitely want. Well, Alien Romulus is coming out, so like later this summer, I think. So maybe a one shot is in order. Just saying.
The visitor, by the way, was Josh, and he didn't poke his head in, but he brought me. He had stopped by my friendly local gaming store because for some reason he and his wife really like the Chinese food place in our town. And so they drive all the way over here to go to that Chinese food place whenever they have like something that they want to celebrate or just have good food. And so I had talked up our friendly local gaming store so often that he decided, okay, well, we're here. Let me just go and check it out, and liked it. And they happened to have an entire table with all the free RPG Day stuff that had not been picked up yet. And so he picked up the kind of like, it's not really the starter kit, but like the intro or like just a taste of the X-Men book. So it's the free RPG Day version of the X-Men for the Marvel role-playing game for the 616 system. So yes, I look forward to getting that book, even if I never actually play the game again. But I'll play the game again once I get X-Men, right? I can't stop. Yep. It hurts me because I am not able to go. A friend of ours, they coordinate friends of ours, I should say. They coordinate a GameCon of just friends every year, and that's going to be
one of these years.
Next week or so. and I'm watching the Discord as they're like planning all the games that they're bringing and stuff. They're playing the X-Men in Marvel, they're each picking all their characters in it's so bad. I really want to play it. So it was fun, and I would love to play with those guys.
My final divergence is, if you haven't watched X-Men 97, The new
Oh my
X-Men
gosh.
97 on Disney. It is absolutely fantastic. We should probably save geeking out about it for another episode. But it is awesome. Do your homework. Go watch the series. We'll geek out about it later. But it's super duper good. It's
For sure.
the best X-Men we've had in years. At least until Deadpool comes out this summer.
Yep.
All right, so thanks for coming. If you're sitting by the old Death Ray, head over to Dice Camp and follow us at Lair of Secrets. We've got all you need for those Hyperion Gamma burns.